South Holland. Welcome back to Lunch with the Librarian. It's Thursday afternoon, so where else really are you going to be? Let's face it. I'm the librarian. I'm Miss Jen. And today we're kind of revisiting our high school cafeteria past and making, if you remember Bosco sticks, you can still buy them at the grocery store. Essentially that's what we're making, but we're going to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit. And everything is going to come together basically in almost the amount of time it's going to take for the oven to preheat. So I've already turned on my oven to 450 degrees. So that's getting heated up. I am going to focus you on my worktop so that you can see what I'm doing. Really super easy. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've got, so South Holland, I really need cooking supplies at the library. So if my cooking surface today looks a little unconventional, let's say, it's just because I have to go to the store and buy a sheet pan because we don't have one. So I'm going to use my nonstick spray and spray the surface that I'm going to cook on. It's just a foil pizza pan, because that's what I happen to have. And to do this, I'm using refrigerator pizza dough. Not the kind that comes in a bag that's like a blob of dough, but this kind that's in a tube. Pillsbury makes it. I know that the generic brand at Mariano's, they have their own. This is just classic crust. If you get the deep dish kind, you're just going to have a breadier end result, and that's fine if that's what you like. So let me open up this womp dough, this womp pizza dough. Ooh, that always surprises me, and I don't know why, because I clearly know that I'm trying to open it. And it just comes rolled up, kind of like crescent dough, if you're used to that. Same deal. This is more like pizza crust, though. It's less buttery and flaky and more it's going to turn out chewier and crustier. I'm just kind of making the sides even. We're going to end up cutting this, so I want the pieces that I'm cutting to be of approximately the same size. So I've got my tube of pizza dough laid out on my cutting board, and I'm going to cut it into 10 equal pieces. So using a pizza cutter, cut it in half, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pieces of dough. In the recipe, the link to the recipe that I'm going to post online, now is the point where if I had pepperoni, or if I liked pepperoni, because I am not a pepperoni pizza girl, South Holland, I would put 4 slices of pepperoni just kind of overlapping straight down the middle of my dough. But I am not that girl, so I am not using it. I suppose you could put in kind of anything that you wanted for anything you liked on a pizza, provided it's not too wet. And then if you put your pepperoni down, you got your pepperoni, and then what you're using is string cheese. This is what Mr. Brian got me from Jewel yesterday when I asked for string cheese. This is mozzarella, but I have seen a version of this recipe where it's not pepperoni and mozzarella string cheese. It is leftover like taco meat and cheddar cheese that comes in little sticks like this. I've even seen at the Aldi by my house, they have cheese sticks like this, but they are Gouda or like pepper jack, and you can use like whatever you like is what you should use. I'm a cheese pizza girl, so I am using mozzarella cheese, and I'm just putting that in the middle of my dough and just rolling it up. I did not cut that all the way through, but I just rolled it up in the dough. And when I roll it up, I'm just pinching the seam closed so that none of the cheesy goodness melts out. And I'm going to do that until my dough is gone. So in just a minute, I'm gonna do that 9 more times, and then we'll come back and show you how to get this into the oven. All right, I'm almost done. As you can see, I've only got a couple of more left to roll up. This is a great recipe if you have little hands around that want to help. There are lots of ways that little kids can help with this. They can open up the string cheese to get it ready to use. You can show them how to pinch the dough closed and like roll it out so that it's even. Little kids do love helping. And of course, if you can't find string cheese at the store by you, or you have just a chunk of cheese, like a brick of cheese that you want to use, and cut it into pieces approximately the size of a cheese stick, that's fine. I try to be conscious of, like, you don't always have time or the desire to run to the store for lunch things. So definitely use what you have on hand. So what I've done, and I'm going to lift you up so that I can show you in just a second. They're all of the breaded cheese stick, or bready cheese sticks, are on the tray. I put them seam side down. So like where I rolled them up and the seam overlaps, I put that seam side down so that the weight of the rest of the cheese stick would press down on it and it wouldn't come open while it was cooking. So the last thing I'm going to do is I melted 2 tablespoons of butter. You can, like how it says tablespoons, I just lopped off a 2 tablespoon chunk and I melted it in the microwave. Mine was frozen, so it took me about 1.5 minutes to fully melt. Yours might not. I'm going to spoon the melted butter and use the back of my spoon to just kind of spread it onto each of the sticks, because bread and cheese by itself isn't decadent enough, my friends. We need to make this on another level. So this is just plain melted butter. And then we're gonna go back and sprinkle some garlic salt if you have Italian seasoning at home. We don't here at the library. That would be delicious. Or if you've got like a little Parmesan cheese, that would be yummy too. I'm just like really lightly sprinkling it on top. Then these go into the oven, into a 450 degree oven for between 10 and 12 minutes until the bread puffs up and it gets golden brown. You know, kind of like a loaf of bread or a breadstick should. So I will see you in about 10 minutes and show you what we got. All right, South Holland. So they're out golden brown, as you can see. You can also see what happens when you don't pinch the seam shut as tightly as it needs to be. They come unrolled and the cheese kind of comes out a little bit. I mean, it's still gonna be delicious. It's bread and cheese. What's not to love, right? And so now they are ready to eat. I mean, I would wait maybe 5 minutes so that this liquid cheese in the middle doesn't like scald the inside of your mouth like magma from a volcano. But now you can take those cheesy breadsticks. I heated up a little bit of marinara sauce that I brought from home, and I can just dip my breadsticks into the sauce and eat them. Not surprisingly, they are delicious. It's bread and cheese and garlic and butter. What's not to love about that? Like I said, the original recipe has pepperoni in it, so it would be even more of like a kind of a pizza experience, but a little bit neater to eat, especially if you are working at a table, like if you're in school and class and you're eating while you're in class, or if you are in a work from home situation. These are a little bit easier to eat, especially if you wait a little bit until they're cooled so that you don't burn your fingers or burn your mouth. I am not taking my own advice. They're bloody good though. If you make them, let me know how it goes. Until next week. Next week I'm making soup that a South Holland resident and all-star viewer of Lunch with the Librarian dropped off. So if you are a soup fan, and y'all know that I am, make sure that you tune in next week for Nancy Vlasic's tomato soup recipe that she dropped off that we're going to try out. Until then, enjoy your lunch, and I'll see you around South Holland.